The old house on Blackthorn Lane stood like a forgotten relic, its warped wooden exterior cloaked in shadows that seemed to cling to the walls. For decades, it had been abandoned, its windows boarded, its garden choked with weeds. Locals whispered of strange occurrences, lights flickering in empty rooms, footsteps echoing in the dead of night. When Clara Everett inherited the house from a distant aunt she barely remembered, she saw it as a chance for a fresh start after her divorce. But from the moment she stepped inside, an oppressive weight settled over her. The air was thick with dust and secrets, and a faint, unintelligible whisper seemed to seep from the walls. This is the story of Clara's descent into the house's dark heart, where the voice in the walls refused to stay silent. Clara's car rattled to a stop in front of the house, the gravel driveway crunching under her tires. The sky was overcast, gray clouds swallowing the late afternoon sun. She stepped out, clutching the rusty key her aunt's lawyer had mailed her. The house loomed, its gabled roof sagging like a tired frown. The air smelled of damp earth and decay, and a chill crawled up her spine despite the humid summer air. Inside, the house was a mausoleum of faded grandeur. Cobwebs draped the chandelier, and the floorboards groaned under her weight. Clara set her suitcase down, her footsteps echoing in the cavernous foyer. She tried to shake the unease, chalking it up to exhaustion. But as she explored, the silence felt wrong, too heavy, too deliberate. Then, as she passed the staircase, she heard it. A faint, sibilant whisper, like wind through dry leaves. She froze, straining to listen. It was gone as quickly as it came, leaving her heart pounding. That night, Clara lay in the guest bedroom, the only room with a semi-functional bed. The whispers returned, louder now, slithering from the walls. "Clara," they seemed to say, though the words were indistinct. She bolted upright, her breath catching. It was just the house settling, she told herself. Old houses creaked, but sleep eluded her, the darkness pressing in like a living thing. The next morning, Clara explored the house, determined to make it her own. She found faded photographs in the attic, showing stern-faced ancestors staring into the camera. One image caught her eye, a young woman, her face eerily similar to Clara's, standing in front of the house. The back read, "Eleanor, 1923. Her great-aunt, perhaps. The resemblance unnerved her. As she cleaned, the whispers grew bolder. They followed her from room to room, always just out of reach. In the kitchen, a glass slid off the counter and shattered when she turned her back. In the parlor, a chair rocked gently, though no breeze stirred the air. Clara's rational mind screamed for explanations. Faulty pipes, drafts, her own imagination. But the whispers were undeniable now, forming fragments of words. Stay, see, mine. She called a local handyman, hoping renovations would quiet the house. Tom, a grizzled man with a kind smile, arrived the next day. "Folks say this place is cursed," he said, half joking. "Heard stories of a woman who lived here went mad from voices." Clara laughed it off, but her stomach twisted. That night, the whispers grew into a low, insistent chant, keeping her awake until dawn. Desperate for distraction, Clara began tearing down the peeling wallpaper in the upstairs hallway. Beneath a layer of faded floral print, she found a seam in the wall, a hidden door, sealed shut with layers of paint. Her pulse quickened as she pried it open with a crowbar. Beyond was a narrow room, its air thick with mildew. A single chair sat in the center facing a cracked mirror. Scratched into the wooden floor were words, "She sees you." Clara's breath hitched. The whispers surged, louder and clearer, as if the room amplified them. "You're here. You're hers," they hissed. She stumbled back, slamming the door shut. Her hands shook as she nailed it closed, but the whispers didn't stop. They seeped through the walls, following her downstairs. She tried to call Tom, but her phone showed no signal, though it had worked fine that morning. That night, she dreamed of the woman from the photograph, Eleanor, standing in the hidden room, her eyes black and hollow. "You can't leave," Eleanor whispered, her voice echoing inside Clara's skull. Clara woke screaming, her sheets soaked with sweat. The house felt alive, its walls pulsing with malice. Clara drove to the nearby town of Hollow Creek, seeking answers. At the library, she pored over old records. She found articles about Eleanor Blackthorne, her great-aunt, who had lived in the house until her death in 1925. The reports were vague but chilling. Eleanor had been found dead in the house, her body emaciated, her nails torn from clawing at the walls. The official cause was starvation, but locals claimed she'd been driven insane by voices. An elderly librarian, Mrs. Hargrove, noticed Clara's research. "You're in the Blackthorne house, aren't you?" she asked, her voice low. "Leave now. That place takes people." She spoke of a family curse tied to a ritual Eleanor had performed, a forbidden act to contact the dead. The ritual had opened something, Mrs. Hargrove said, something that never left. Clara returned home, her mind racing. The whispers were waiting, now a chorus of overlapping voices. "Join us. Stay," they urged. She found scratches on her bedroom door, as if someone, or something, had tried to get in while she slept. Clara's days blurred into a haze of fear and exhaustion. She stopped eating, her appetite stolen by the constant whispers. Objects moved on their own. A book falling from a shelf, a door creaking open. The mirror in the hidden room haunted her dreams, showing Eleanor's face instead of her own. She avoided mirrors, but reflections in windows and spoons twisted into grotesque shapes. She tried to leave, packing a bag and heading for the door. But the front door wouldn't budge, the lock jammed. Windows refused to open, their frames warped. Panic clawed at her chest as the whispers laughed, a low, guttural sound. "You're ours," they said. She called Tom again, but the line was dead. Her phone screen flickered, showing Eleanor's face for a split second. Clara barricaded herself in the guest bedroom, but the whispers followed, louder now. They spoke her name, her fears, her secrets, the things no one could know. She began to doubt her sanity. Was she imagining it? Was the house alive, or was her mind breaking? In a desperate bid for answers, Clara returned to the hidden room. She brought a flashlight and a notebook, determined to confront the source. The air was colder than before, the whispers a deafening roar. In the mirror, she saw not her reflection but Eleanor, her lips moving in time with the voices. "Finish it," Eleanor said. "Complete the circle." Clara found a journal hidden under the floorboards, its pages yellowed and brittle. Eleanor's handwriting detailed a ritual to summon a spirit, a guardian of the Blackthorne family. But something had gone wrong. The spirit was no guardian but a malevolent force, bound to the house. Eleanor had tried to banish it, but the ritual failed, trapping her soul within the walls. Clara's hands trembled as she read the final entry. "It wants a vessel. It wants me." The whispers surged, and the mirror cracked, shards falling to the floor. Clara fled, but the house seemed to shift, corridors stretching, doors vanishing. She was trapped in a maze of her own home. Days passed, or maybe weeks. Clara lost track. The house was a prison, its walls closing in. She stopped sleeping, afraid of the dreams where Eleanor's cold hands reached for her. The whispers were constant now, a cacophony of voices begging, threatening, pleading. "Give in," they said. "Be ours." Her body weakened, her skin pale and gaunt. She saw things in the shadows, silhouettes with two long limbs, eyes that glowed in the dark. The house fed on her fear, growing stronger as she faded. She tried to fight, smashing mirrors and tearing at the walls, but the whispers only laughed. One night, she heard a new sound. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate, coming from the attic. She followed, driven by a mix of terror and defiance. The attic was empty, but the air was thick with the smell of decay. A single word was scratched into the floor. Clara. Clara decided to end it. She gathered candles, salt, and chalk, piecing together a banishing ritual from Eleanor's journal. In the hidden room, she drew a circle on the floor, her hands shaking as she lit the candles. The whispers screamed, a sound that rattled her bones. "You can't," they hissed. "You're too weak." She chanted the words from the journal, her voice trembling but resolute. The air grew heavy, the temperature plummeting. Shadows writhed in the corners, forming a figure. Eleanor, her face twisted with rage. "You can't take this from me," she snarled, her voice no longer human. Clara pressed on, her voice growing stronger. The candles flickered and the mirror glowed, reflecting not Eleanor but a void, a swirling, endless darkness. The house shook, plaster falling from the ceiling. Clara's vision blurred, her strength fading, but she refused to stop. The whispers became screams, then silence. When Clara opened her eyes, she was on the floor. The candles burned to stubs. The room was quiet, the air lighter. The whispers were gone. She stumbled downstairs, her legs weak. The front door opened easily now, sunlight streaming in. She stepped outside, breathing fresh air for the first time in weeks. But the house wasn't done. As she walked away, she glanced back and saw a figure in the upstairs window, Eleanor, watching her. Clara's heart sank. Had she banished the spirit or had it let her go? She drove to a motel, vowing never to return. But at night, she heard it again, a faint whisper, not from the walls, but from inside her own mind. Clara sold the house, or tried to. No one would buy it. The realtor reported strange occurrences, clients hearing voices, feeling watched. Clara moved across the country, but the whispers followed, faint but persistent. She saw Eleanor in dreams, in reflections, always watching. The house had marked her, and she knew it would never let go. She began researching, digging into the Blackthorne family history. She found stories of others who'd lived in the house, all driven mad or disappeared. The spirit, whatever it was, had claimed them all. Clara wrote her own account, a warning to anyone who might inherit the house. She hid it in a library, hoping it would be found. The house on Blackthorne Lane still stands, its windows dark, its walls silent to those who pass by. But for those who linger, who listen too closely, the whispers begin. Clara's story is one of survival, but not escape. The voice in the walls never stops whispering, and it waits for its next guest. Some say it's Eleanor, others say it's something older, something that was never human. Whatever it is, it's patient, and it's hungry.